All right, well, explosive new allegations emerging against DA Fani Willis this week. The lawyer who exposed the potential conflict of interest between Willis and Nathan Wade testified before a special Georgia Senate committee, alleging that Wade was paid nearly double the salary of his other colleagues. Listen.
It gives pretty much zero, in my opinion, identification. I mean, this is not something that we would be able to submit to a client ever. I can't imagine. I mean, they would, if I billed them $2,000 for 8 hours of meeting with a team on one day, and just research without what I'm researching. I mean, you have to be detailed in your bills, because that's accountability. I mean, that's the only way as lawyers we can be accountable.
All right, criminal defense attorney Brian Claypool joins us now. Brian, a couple of major explosive allegations in that testimony. Let's break them down one by one, starting with what you just heard there from Ashley Merchant, that Nathan Wade earned more than double the salaries of his colleagues, and that the accounting for how he was paid and what he was paid for is opaque. What do you make of that?
Hey, Jillian, great to see you again. Yeah, the testimony yesterday was devastating. The evidence is really damaging for Fani Willis. Why? Because Nathan Wade was paid almost $700,000. He billed $250 an hour. If you do the math, Jillian, that's $700,000 divided by $250 an hour is 2,800 hours. What did he do in 2,800 hours? And his billing doesn't reveal that. When you're paid hourly, Jillian, you are required to itemize your tasks. You can't just bill 12 hours I went to a meeting. So that there is potential for taxpayer fraud now stemming from this evidence. And by the way, there's two other assistants that were appointed as special counsel. They billed a little under $100,000. So it's almost 7 times more that he billed, that Fani Willis would get the bill, she would approve it, and it gets paid. So this is devastating.
What about this? This is Ashley Merchant claiming that their cell phone data, that Wade took a series of middle-of-the-night trips to Fani Willis's house before she'd even hired him. Take a listen to that.
It's pinging from his house all the way down to the condo at midnight, 1 a.m. And he calls her when he gets there. And then it goes silent for 4 or 5 hours. And then, early in the morning hours, he starts pinging again, driving back, and then he texts her when he gets home. So,
and this is before he gets hired in November of 21.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. What do you say to that?
Well, Jillian, this is getting bigger than should Fani Willis be removed. And I think she will be after all of this testimony. That question by one of the state senators is critical. Why did he ask if that was before Wade was hired? Because that now potentially supports a perjury charge. Remember, Willis and Nathan Wade got up on the stand, said we didn't have any kind of relationship before Wade was hired in November of 2021. Well, now we've got cell phone data, and I saw 30 visits to Hateville, Georgia. I think that's where Fani Willis lives. 30 visits prior to Wade being hired. That supports the proposition that more was going on, that it could have easily been a romantic relationship. What are you doing from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m.? So this could create, additional charges against Fani Willis and Nathan Wade.
Yeah, a lot of spiraling questions coming out of that testimony. Brian, we got to leave it there. Thanks for taking time with us.
You bet. Thanks, Jillian.
Thanks, Dana.
Well, the clock is ticking for TikTok as Congress considers a bill targeting apps controlled by foreign adversaries like China.
The Chinese Communist Party and its leader, Xi Jinping, have their hands deep in the inner workings of the company, with devastating consequences for our own personal freedoms. And in compliance with Chinese law,